Now, Ryan and McCain have both publicly disagreed with Trump on several issues in the past, but both have also maintained their endorsement of him. Ayotte has said she's supporting the party's nominee, but hasn't formally endorsed Trump himself. Now, Trump will be in her home state of New Hampshire for a rally later tonight. And Christy, a lot of people will be looking to see what Trump actually says about Ayotte, if anything, because she is one of the most endangered Republicans up for re-election this fall. And right now, both her and Donald Trump are trailing in the polls in New Hampshire.
Yeah, and that's a state that at one point he was doing very well in. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Scott McLean.
All right, so let's bring in Jason Johnson, politics editor of TheRoot.com. Jason, let's start here with the endorsements. Why did Donald Trump endorse at the end of the week when very little had changed since he was reluctant to endorse at the start of the week?
Pivot, pivot, pivot. Like a basketball player, he's got to pivot. He had spent the entire week attacking a Gold Star family. He had caused too many fights with too many different people. You had big names like Meg Whitman saying, I'm not even going to give money to your campaign. I'm going to raise money for Hillary Clinton. He had to do something to pivot off of his self-inflicted injuries. That's why he read that absolutely strained endorsement. And you can tell, Victor, whenever Donald Trump really doesn't want to do something, that's when he's reading it off paper. When he's being himself, he's spontaneous.
All right, so let's talk about the value of this endorsement. In a primary cycle, when endorsements really didn't help his competitors, what's the impact of a Trump endorsement in New Hampshire, in Wisconsin, in Arizona?
I don't think it does anything for Kelly Ayotte. I think she's going to lose in New Hampshire. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. It doesn't matter for Paul Ryan. He's Speaker of the House. He's very popular. He's actually doing a very good job. He was not in any danger. It could actually end up helping John McCain. But the issue is going to be, it's not just Donald Trump blithely reading something off a piece of paper and pretending that he cares. It's, will Donald Trump and John McCain campaign together? That is going to be more important than what comes out of his mouth. And as of right now, they still don't have any planned campaign events.
All right, let's talk about Ohio Governor John Kasich and what he told Jake Tapper about potentially voting for Donald Trump. Watch.
I wish that I could be fully enthusiastic. I can't be. So I don't know what's going to happen at the end.
What does Donald Trump need to do to get you to vote for him? You've obviously said that you'll never vote for Hillary Clinton. Is there any way that Donald Trump can change?
Well, it's, you know, there's so much water over the dam now, it's become increasingly difficult. But I want, you know, unifying. I think I've been pretty clear about, you know, there was a speech I made called Two Paths. You know, you can either operate on the dark side of the street or you can operate in the light. I believe that America needs people to operate in the light. Plain and simple.
What's stopping John Kasich from simply saying, I won't vote for Donald Trump, instead of what seems like a hedge, I don't see how I get there, we don't know what the bridge will be, I don't foresee it happening?
I mean, he essentially just called him Darth Vader, Victor. He's like, there's the light side and the dark in the Republican Party, and clearly he thinks Trump is on the dark side. Here's the thing. John Kasich doesn't want to endorse Donald Trump. He probably won't. He's one of those politicians like Ted Cruz who's probably going to hold off, and should Trump lose, come back and say, I told you so, and I'm ready for 2020. But this is why this matters. It's not just about personalities and egos. Donald Trump has to win Ohio to win the presidency. And when his campaign is making phone calls to the Kasich team in Columbus and saying, hey, can we get that voter list? Can we get that funding list? It's very clear that John Kasich isn't going to help him. And so on a practical level, this has to be fixed for the Republican Party to have any chance to win the White House in November.
Hey, guys, in the control room, do we have that Hillary Clinton sound from yesterday talking about the short-circuiting? All right, let's play that.
So I may have short-circuited it, and for that, I, will try to clarify, because I think, Chris Wallace and I were probably talking past each other, because, of course, he could only talk to what I had told the FBI, and I appreciated that. Now, I have acknowledged repeatedly that using 2 email accounts was a mistake, and I take responsibility for that.
Hillary Clinton yesterday in a room full of journalists talking about this interview with Chris Wallace on Fox News, in which she said that Director Comey of the FBI, during his testimony, said that she'd been truthful with the American public about her characterization of her use of her email server, when in fact that's not what Director Comey said. You wrote a piece saying that both Secretary Clinton and the journalists in the room blew it. How?
Yeah. So basically, the biggest mistake that Hillary Clinton made is she is talking to the National Association of Black Journalists, the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Her job is to actually speak to these groups. There are plenty of things that African American and Latino journalists do. They have the ears of communities that she needs to hear to win. And she wanted to sit there and talk about economic empowerment and not necessarily talk about some of the key things that Black and Latino journalists do. Second, I don't think that Hillary Clinton's email scandal is a top 5, 10, or even 30 issue to most Black or Latino voters. And I think if we had had more of an opportunity to ask her some tougher questions about immigration, about criminal justice, it would have been a lot more productive.
But how long does this stay with her if she does not acknowledge what fact checkers have said, that he indeed did not say that what she said in public about using only one device, about not sending or receiving any classified material at the time that it was sent or received, that those statements were not true?
Right. Well, Hillary Clinton is either hard of hearing or she's lying. But here's the thing, Victor. This scandal only lasts as long until the next time Donald Trump shoots himself in the foot. These are the kinds of things that Hillary Clinton could be being held accountable for, just like asking her questions about her South America policy, asking her questions about her racial policies of the past, and she's getting off scot-free because her competition, Donald Trump, keeps sucking up the news cycle with his bad behavior. And so, you know, it's a drag on her campaign, but not enough of a drag to keep her from running out to now a 7 or 8 point lead.
All right, let's look at this new video. And as you said, the controversy over the email will stick with her. Let's watch what the Trump campaign released overnight.
Extremely careless.
Email system was breached by hostile actors.
Gross negligence.
Hillary Clinton put our national security at risk, and she's still lying.
Director Comey said that my answers were truthful.
That's not true.
Even the Washington Post says Hillary Clinton lied, comparing her to Pinocchio.
I may have short-circuited it, and for that,
Careless.
Yeah, you see the statement there from that event yesterday. Does this not, if not playing specifically into the email saga, but the narrative and the results from the latest poll showing that 2/3 of Americans still find her to be untrustworthy and dishonest?
Right. Well, you know, Victor, it's interesting. There was a really great study done back in like '96 about her husband, Bill Clinton. He was deemed untrustworthy too, but there's a second question that we always have to ask is he trustworthy enough? And people don't trust Hillary Clinton, but they generally seem to think that she is trustworthy enough, or at least slightly more reliable than Donald Trump. Again, I think this email scandal is going to last, but is it something as bad as, say, Donald Trump asking the Russians to hack into the DNC? Is it as bad as Donald Trump attacking a Gold Star family? Is it as bad as the possibility of Donald Trump's tax returns coming out? This scandal is not, at least as of right now, big enough or connected to anything to drag her down. And unfortunately, that's allowed Hillary Clinton to get away with continuing to lie because she can't seem to get in enough trouble for this issue with her competition doing worse.
Yeah, her unfavorables are high, and so are his.
Yes.
Jason Johnson, thanks so much.
Thanks, Victor.